Hey everyone, and welcome back to Robbie's Backstage Bants. Today I have two special guests with me. Would you like to introduce yourself? I don't know who want to go first.
Go on, Stevie, you go first.
Okay. Hi, I'm Stevie.
And I'm Tobias.
And these two are very special as they're just about to go and be Sky and Sophie in Mamma Mia. How exciting for you both.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty scary, but it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
It really is. Now, obviously, you were both on the reality TV show Mamma Mia, I Have a Dream. So, free holiday, no?
A bit.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of work. A lot of work over
A
the
lot
yeah.
of work.
But thing is, like, I had such a great time doing it, and sometimes it didn't feel like work, which is the best thing about it. But it was very busy. We were there for like just over a month. We had like 2 days off, so it was pretty intense.
Crazy. Yeah. It looked really intense, but how did you feel? Sort of, obviously, each week you were competing against each other, but did you feel like you learned a lot every week? And each week, what week do you feel like you learned the most?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, I think oh, I think for me probably trustful. Because I think before that we sort of had the support of whoever it was that you were singing with. I got to sing with Des and Maisie. Um So, and Trustful was the first time that it was sort of like you're on your own.
Yeah.
And I think there was sort of that was it was also a song that I wasn't the most comfortable with anyway. Um and yeah, I think that was when I sort of realized that, oh, okay, there's um yeah, just there's a it was the most sort of exposing time. You couldn't really hide behind anybody and you had to sort of step up. And that was also the first week that we did our scenes. We got to do the honey honey scene with uh, Samantha and Amber, which was incredible. And yeah, I learned a lot from those two. That was an incredible experience as well. So I would say that week in general was just well, that day in general was yeah, that was a big learning curve for me in that show.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it was any time someone's coming in behind
Oh no.
me. I've got a visitor. I am, yeah. I should have warned her. I should have warned her. Um, what was I saying? What was the question?
What
Oh
did
yeah,
you learn?
yeah. I think actually I learned. I wouldn't say there was one particular week I learned the most in because I think each week came with its own challenges and its own kind of things to learn from. And every time like you worked with someone new, like when I worked with Des and then Stevie and then Ez, you kind of learn something each time about working with different people and the songs you're singing. Because like the three songs I did were quite different from each other each week. So
Yeah.
I don't know, you kind of just learn, you pick things up along the way, and you're working with some amazing people. Like all of the judges are incredible, and like to even get like feedback from them was one thing. Then working with like Paul Garrington, who came in like week three, who's like the director of every Mamma Mia on the planet,
Yeah.
um, and then like Maz when she came in. Yeah, it was just a big old learning experience.
Yeah. I mean, it looked awesome. I really enjoyed it. The judges, how did you feel on the first occasion performing in front of those judges? Many of them are like West End theatre legends, and you were just like, okay, how did that feel performing in front of them for the first time?
Yeah, terrifying. Terrifying.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Samantha Barks is an absolute icon to me, and I'm obsessed with her career, and I have loved her career, and would love to have her career. So, um, for me, that was a bit mad actually, and also it's really funny because a lot of these people you've only ever seen on TV, and then you see them in real life, and you're like, oh, you're a 3D human being, like you're actually fully formed, like you're not just like a screen image,
For
like.
real.
Yeah, I can actually like touch you. This is weird. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I think I just have to agree because like these are four people who are just incredible at what they do, and
Mm.
these are four people I never thought I'd get to meet. So it was just a very surreal experience. First of all, meeting them for the first time and then performing in front of them. You're like, this is a big deal. This is scary.
Yeah. And you all made such great friendships as well on the show. It was nice to see how everyone bonded so well. But obviously, the main thing was the final at the Novello Theatre. And stepping out onto that stage for the first time on the Mamma Mia set must have been a really big moment for the both of you.
Hmm. It was. I tell you what, it was weird. It almost felt right to be ending it there because we've been on
Mm.
such long journey, and obviously we're all trained in musical theatre, so it kind of felt right to be doing it on that stage. But I don't know how, I was way less nervous for the final than I was for any of my performances out in Greece, and I don't know where that came from or why. Maybe it was a familiar setting for myself. So I have no idea, but it felt right to be ending it there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I agree. It felt like that was where it should have finished. I think it would have felt it wouldn't have had the same impact if we were still in Greece.
No.
I think the fact that we had such a large gap before the final maybe helped a little bit because it helped you be in sort of a different mindset. We weren't in the same sort of, it wasn't as if we got flown back from Greece and then we stood on a stage and then you had to sing and do it on a stage. And that would have been, I think that would have been really difficult because you would have had to like completely flip everything you've been doing for the past month. And now you're doing it on a stage in front of a live audience. Well, we had a live audience in Greece, but a large live audience. And yeah, I think having that sort of time off sort of helped you get into like yeah, it felt like there was less of a jump and more of a sort of gradual, okay, like now we're going to be on a stage.
Yeah, and it was a massive audience that you performed. You went from Greece to a huge audience there, and you're going to be doing that a lot of times. I'll tell you that. If you didn't know, spoiler alert, that's going to happen a couple more times. Um, obviously, winning the show, you, I mean, you're both fantastic, like absolutely outstanding, and you deserve to win. But that must have been like, because obviously, usually you get the call, and you're like, oh yeah, thanks for the role. But you just that was on television. You getting that, and was that an amazing thing?
Yeah, it was amazing, and you're right. It was completely different. Like the phone call was always quite nice because you can hide behind the phone and be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, thank God." But this one, it was almost like just. I think it was almost like 10 months at that time. 10 months of our lives had just come to that one moment, and then hearing your name was just a bit surreal. Really, we said like, I don't quite know how I felt in that moment because it was very overwhelming. But yeah, it was just a great feeling, and it was to do it in that setting as well was just something else.
mm,
Yeah, yeah, I just agree. I think it was a very like Toby said, I sort of was just in shock when it happened. Yeah, and I think I just all I remember was sort of going into Esme's chest because it was the thing of sort of um knowing that people were like obviously were watching, like there's cameras and there's people there. And I think I knew I was in shock. Like I'd gone into like a I don't know what's going on. And I sort of just went, the only thing I could do was just like hold on to Esme because I was like, I actually don't know what to do right now. And yeah, and it took about I was saying this earlier on that you know when someone says something to you and you say what, and by the time you've said what, you've heard what they said. It just
mm,
took you. It was like delayed the process. Like you heard it, but you just delayed in processing what they said, what you heard. And that was sort of what happened. It was as if they said it, and I was sort of like in a sort of state of shock for a good 10 seconds, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm back in the room and I know what's happened." But yeah,
yeah, totally. And as you said, different to the call, completely different, broadcasted in front of everyone. So that must be
yeah.
really special. But at
I
least you
mean,
can watch it.
yeah,
It's
I
that
suppose.
when you
Sorry, Toby, go.
it's that thing as well. Like it's this time around the people watching have voted for it, so that's a completely different sensation in its own right. Like that's crazy to think that people have actually liked us enough to pick up the phone or to vote online or whatever it was, that's a completely different feeling to the call as well.
Yeah, and I've never had the call. Like I literally left drama school and like I left drama school early to do the show. So yeah, I've never had that experience. So for me, my my first ever experience of finding out that I got a job was that. So I think that's, I suppose, another like reason of maybe why I was literally in shock. Because it is such a public thing. Yeah, you don't have the privacy of sort of hiding behind the phone.
No, you don't have that. I'm just gonna call my mom and be like, "Yeah, mom, I'm gonna be Sophie and Mamma Mia." Nope, that was on live television. Everyone knows. But for the first one, I mean that's gonna make the calls. I mean, you will still love the call, but you've had it told to you live on TV now, so they're gonna have to step it up a little bit for you
Climax
next time,
finale, but
Stevie.
okay, cool, thanks.
Sorry, but can you tell me on live TV instead? Yeah. And now, obviously, you're in rehearsals. There was a gorgeous clip released the other day of you both. How are you finding rehearsals? Are you having fun?
So much fun. So much fun. And the show is all fun. Every single thing that we do is fun, and every single rehearsal, even in the bit more like serious scenes, it's still fun. And I think that's a big thing of what Stephen does, our director, is that he likes to sort of set a sort of nice atmosphere to all of our rehearsals. So we always start and it's everyone's chatting, everyone's having a laugh, and it's because it then puts you in a better mood to work with those people. Whereas if you just walked in and went straight into like, okay, we need to work.
Yeah.
I don't think you would get as much out of the scenes, and that's been really nice actually, as the actually all of the rehearsals.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. It's such a nice environment to rehearse in, and we've been rehearsing on the stage, which is nice because sometimes you do it in like a audition room in dance attic or whatever it is, and you move to the stage and it's a completely different vibe. But obviously, it's just us two being rehearsed in because they had a cast change a couple months back,
Mm.
so it's nice doing it all on the stage, kind of learning it where we'll be doing it, and yeah, like I said, everyone's been so lovely and welcoming to us, and the director, you're right, does set a lovely environment. So it's the rehearsals have been really great.
It's nice to work when it's so relaxed, isn't it? And I suppose you two knowing each other quite well beforehand is great because many Sophies and Skies before you've probably come in, met each other on the first day of rehearsal and been like, oh, okay, so this is us for the rest of the year. But you've got a great bond together already. So do you think that's helped you within the scenes?
Completely.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always nice to work with somebody that you feel comfortable working with. And I think that was sort of even similar when we were out there in Corfu because we were all such good friends. You could really work with anybody, and you knew that it would having that sort of bond outside of the performances really does help. And yeah, it has just been really nice because it's just rehearsals are a laugh, and then and Sophie and Sky are like, as much as they're in a relationship, they're also very good friends, and I think it does. Yeah, you have banter and you laugh, and yeah, it's fun.
Hmm, definitely. And rehearsals are great. Have you had any really challenging moments that you've had to sort of overcome? What's been the most challenging thing for you in the rehearsals so far?
I think for me, it's probably the fact that we rehearsed just us two for a while, and then like being just dropped into the middle of this massive ensemble, trying to work out everything in such small amounts of time. That's probably, but it's also a nice problem to have. You can
Yeah.
just overcome that quite easily, and everyone's, like I say, everyone's there to be like, oh, you're there, you're there, you're there. Everyone's so lovely, so it's an easy problem to overcome.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. But I also would say possibly I'm a massive procrastinator, and if I don't have to do something, I will wait until the very last minute to do it. And because I've had not a lot of time to do this at all, um, I think that's been the biggest thing for me is like actually being like, okay, now I need to just do this now. And but it's been very beneficial because I've not been able to procrastinate, but it's very strange for me. And yeah, I think just the sort of time on it, but also I think when other people sort of when a rehearsal ends and you're like, oh, I really wish I could have done that a few more times. That's that's difficult as well because there's only so much you can do in your bedroom, you know, rehearsing it by yourself.
Yeah, you're definitely doing the full show there in your bedroom, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
We've all done it. We've all done it. It's growing up as well. It just happens. Um,
Yeah.
Now, have you had costumes yet? You have.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that brilliant? I mean, they're all iconic costumes from Mamma Mia. Was that amazing?
Yeah, so for me, literally, it was the day after the final. The next day I had to go into costume and be fitted for everything. Which again, that was like, it's real. This is happening now. And I don't think I had a chance to sort of like appreciating like sort of let it sink in what was happening because I was in there putting all these costumes on and I was so like drained in every way possible, emotionally, physically, because of the show the night before, that I was in there putting on all these costumes and I was like, this is so amazing, but like I can't process what's going on. And yeah, all of the costumes are so iconic. I cannot wait to wear the little, do you know the green top that she
Yeah.
wears? That's my favorite one. I love it.
Yeah, they're all great, and it's like I've got some great ones. The suit at the end is great. The wetsuit is all right, I guess. The wetsuit's the funny one. Because I'm in that from the end of Lay All Your Love and Voulez-Vous actually. That's quite a fun one. You don't get to wear that in many other musicals. So.
No. And there was some great putting on the wetsuit acting going on in that video we saw as well of the rehearsals. I've seen lots of comments about that. Everyone's impressed, Tobias. They've trained you
It's a
well.
lot easier without the wetsuit, I'll tell you.
You'll
To be
perfect
fair,
it.
that wetsuit is an absolute nightmare to get on. It is a nightmare, and it's both of our responsibility at that point, and it's just, oh, it's petrifying. I'm so scared. I'm so scared for that moment because the second that one shoulder isn't on properly, you're not getting on. It's not going on. So, yeah, we need a lot of practice on that one before we start.
Hardest moment in the show, it's the wetsuit.
The
It is.
wetsuit.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Which song are you most excited to perform?
I would. Oh, Toby, you go. I waited. We both sort of waited.
I think it's for me. I think it's Voulez-Vous or the Mega Mix at the end actually, just because they're first of all great songs and the choreography is really great as well. But it's also just the thing about doing it with everyone in the cast. It's like it's not just us two. It's everyone's there and the vibes are great.
This changes all the time. And before I started rehearsals, it was definitely Under Attack. That was because we hadn't it's the only song from the show that I didn't really know that well. I feel like every other song on the show I'd heard of a few times and could probably sing most of the lyrics to. Under Attack was the only one that I was like, I'm gonna need to actually learn this one, which I was really excited for because it was like something completely new that we hadn't done yet, and I could really like start fresh on. Um, but now, after doing all of the rehearsals, it's definitely Thank You for the Music because I love that scene with the dads. Like it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. And it's like the first time she meets the dads and they're just having a little sing along and it's just so wholesome and lovely and cute.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's full of amazing songs. Obviously, it's ABBA, but it is full of brilliant songs. It's a brilliant night out. I haven't seen it in quite a while. I'll have to come and see it when you're there now. I'll have to.
Please.
I'll have to. I mean, look, you've come here now. I'll have to do it. Um, and obviously, you open on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
No. We're gonna have to be. We're gonna have to be.
Get that wetsuit sorted out.
Yeah. No, we are. I think with everything, I suppose like once we've been open for a little while, we'll be a lot more in the swing of things and it will feel a bit easier. I think the first week especially is gonna be quite hard. I mean, I've never done a professional job yet that like on stage. So I mean that's gonna be, I think the first week for me is gonna be a lot of learning. Um But yes, I think we're as ready as we're gonna be. So we're gonna have to do it.
It's gonna be absolutely fine. We're gonna be
Yeah.
great.
He's ready. He'll help you. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. And you've got the 25th anniversary coming up as well.
Mhm.
That's brilliant to be in the show at that time. You're gonna have a big party for that one.
I don't know. You're right. It's a really exciting time to be a part of this show, and I'm really glad to be joining it at this point in time. I don't know. They'll be doing something, I'm sure, for the 25th.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some form of celebrations. Yeah.
Wow, that does sound fun. Now I have one more question for the both of you, and then I'll let you go back to Greece, if only you were going back there. And that is, why should people come and see the show?
It's just, I think, first of all, it's got a foundation of just incredible music that everyone knows and loves, but it's also just 2 and a bit hours of good time. Like, I think we've said it before and we'll say it again. You can't leave without smiling.
Oh, he's taking it from me. That's always my line. I always say that. It's my slogan for the show.
It's just such a great time and it's so much fun. And yeah, it's hard not to have a good time.
Yeah, no, it is. It's so fun. And it's it's so fun for everyone, and there's something that everyone can relate to in it. And yeah, just enjoy. You could go for literally any occasion and it would work. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will be booking some tickets. And if you want to book some tickets, I'll leave the link in the description so you can all go and book some and go and support Stevie and Tobias because they are phenomenal. But that has brought us to the very end of the episode. So I want to thank you both for taking up your time and joining me this afternoon.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thanks
for
for
having me.
having us.
It's been brilliant. Thank you so much. And thanks for watching, everyone. And we'll see you all in the next episode.